CBD trying to get back into the IC, and in the end, working. And Tom K's the last one standing for Golden Cat. He can make a last-ditch run for 6 sacks. I don't think it'll be a successful one. Goes for the rock instead. The nade would have finished him off anyway. But Fury are hearing this, and they need to get involved. They need to try and rebuild some confidence, Jordan. Recapture some of that momentum that they had from night one. Insight, spray, it's decent. Gets Anquan to half health. The nade only has one more to follow up from that. And it just bounces away from CVD and Anquan. But Fury, got to be aggressive here. Got to just rush in. You've got the numbers. Move as two. Clear out these rooms, get the double kill.
Yeah, Insight might have been better off just firing there instead of cooking the grenade. He wasn't to know, I guess, that they were going to commit to the cross, but they did. CVD and Anquan could still ruin the game here for Fury. So Fury have the advantage, but they don't want to overcommit to this. They don't want to lose players right here because this is their opportunity to have a good game. This side of the circle is relatively quiet if they deal with DIC. But if they lose 2 players in doing so, it's not going to be worth it.
You don't want to lose anyone from this. You really shouldn't be. Oh, Wacky Lucat doesn't realize where Noctan. Sorry, Anquan, not Noctan, is located. Anquan holding that position. In the end, though, it will be all 4 members of Fury Australia staying up. Not a bad circle for them as well.
It's a good trade from Ronan.
Very shortly after that, Astra going to get a bit of circle luck as well this game. It almost is reminiscent to night number 1, where on Miramar, they'd finally got a bit of circle luck, but had so much pressure from the teams around them. This might be the case here again. Buriram and Carnage out to the east. They're going to have to start moving at least within the next 30 seconds.
Indeed. This is the first real curveball that's been thrown to Carnage in this game. And they can get into the circle first, but then they'll have to be aware of Buriram behind them. There's an opportunity to move, though. As Chin starts firing those shots in the direction of Buriram, I'm looking at the map. I'm seeing Bryn, B2, and Monty getting into the circle. Now, they're in front of Buriram, and they've left Rain behind. It's an interesting maneuver, because if Rain gets the timing right, he can certainly backstab one of these Buriram players, or perhaps even more. The shots do come through, and Nordra goes down. Well done from Rain. Needs to be aware of someone turning around, but this is a good start for Buriram to this engagement.
I think the other members of Carnage as well have got eyes on Edie and Canaxi, so God Meow's kind of the unknown right now. Rain does have to be careful. He's at a lower ground position, doesn't have a whole lot of cover from the rest of his teammates. God Meow, I think he's going to finally spot him, and well, he does immediately flush him. That was probably always going to be the case because the rest of Carnage didn't have eyes on God Meow. Canaxi, a bit further pushed up. But this is a really good position for Carnage to try and gatekeep Buriram. It's a tough ask. Buriram United have found form. They've been very, very good over really the last 3 to 5 games. Carnage have definitely got a task in front of them, but if they can meet this task, Jordan, on the other side of it might be the opportunity to overtake Fury Australia.
Admittedly, Carnage has also found some pretty good form recently. Yes, they've had circle luck, and they haven't had to do too much fighting, but they've been better than what we saw on day 1. So they're on the up and up as well. The 3-on-3. God Meow leading the charge right now for Buriram, and the utility gets traded backwards and forwards. Some good damage. It's going to force God Meow to tuck his head. Eagle Sentinel Shooter arrive now, and this could be problematic for Carnage. It could be problematic as well for Buriram, because now that third partying team is going to be the one that is here to feast. It's entry fragger to finish off Carnage, and that's how quickly your fortunes can change.
Well, the same can be said for Eagle Sentinel Shooter, the team on the bottom place of the standings currently. You know, you just peek over that hill and all of a sudden you've just got everyone in your sightlines. You can see Carnage, you can see Buriram. They can just take shots at everyone. 4 quick kills. Eagle Sentinel Shooter can wipe out the remaining forces of Buriram United. God Meow. And Edie's still alive. Blue now pushing though. Eagle Sentinel Shooter should be able to finish this, and they do. Turtle found 1 kill for Divine in that, down a bit south. But Eagle Sentinel Shooter, Jordan, they get a bit of luck going their way here. 16th place, looking to try and overtake Victim Rise and force them down into the last place position.
Well, another team that gets that circle favorable is Q Confirm, and we know how solid they have been at converting these kinds of advantages. It's just another one presented on a silver platter for Q Confirm, who have been actually relatively quiet so far this game. Haven't been getting into any engagements. They're all going to be healthy. They've got 4 players alive. They'll have a lot of utility. And I think they're going to be ready to start fragging out fairly shortly.
Niku's able to get both Noctan and Jet. Should be able to get the revive. Astra will have 2 still alive here, going towards the final 8 teams. Eagle Sentinel Shooter versus Divine. Down below them is QC. We've almost sort of forgotten about our perennial leaders, Jordan, have got 4 alive. No kills, but something that we used to see in the Oceanic region is the old Atletico, who would usually have very low kills, but all 4 alive at this point in the game, they would usually go on and win. And the same can be said now for probably Q Confirmed. They're in this sort of position. Big fight, though, coming up in the next few moments, the next 30 seconds to a minute against Eagle Sentinel Shooter. They get the initial knockdown thanks to Jowman's nade onto Man. Still 3 up, though, for Eagle Sentinel Shooter. And this is a lot of utility that is being thrown back and forth between these two teams. Svit staying more so centered, not really up close with this fight. And for now, 365 do get a reprieve. They can get the revive, they can move forward.
Yeah, Q Confirmed, not too eager to overcommit to that one. We'll see Lynxy dropping to the zone, which leaves just Nikus left alive for the moment, but he's also outside. And so he'll just give that one up. Astra get themselves another 8th place, another placement point on the board. Chin slugging away right now, so too is Tonke, although he's not necessarily doing the slugging per se, but he's at least trying to survive. Has been spotted, though, by Fury, and you can only imagine this doesn't last too long for him. Push is already starting to come in from inside. Ronan's over to his left. Golden Cat will go out in 7th. Another kill for Fury, but now they'll have to try and deal with Golden Cat, or rather with Q Confirm, I should say, who have suffered a loss. Jowman goes down to Chin, who's biding his time, that's for sure. Ronan's in trouble, though. JS will finish that, and it's surely a confirmed kill for Q Confirm. The trays are starting to come back in from Jukesy, though.
How much could Jukesy get here? Fury needed a bit of luck, needed to turn their fortunes around here. Match 4 here on Miramar, their old stomping grounds, where everything used to go right for them here. It hasn't quite been the case for PCS1 APAC. Insight finds one onto Elonix as he pushed up. Jukesy, though, still stuck towards the blue area. I'm not sure exactly how much more he's going to be able to contribute, though. MSC up north have still got Rossiter and Yoshi Menburi, as you can see on your screens. Down south, Q Confirm are pretty much still controlling this entire area. Gearbox has still got a player, along with Eagle Sentinel Shooter, still pushing in, rotating around the south section of this circle. They've at least gotten off the bottom of the standings. Still a bit of work to be done, though, and Q Confirmed are going to make it very difficult for them. Even though they're only down to 3 players, everyone is 3 or less in terms of players. No teams left with 4 up.
Chin could ruin another team's day, though, as he keeps an eye on Eagle Sentinel Shooter. They haven't spotted him out just yet. There's utility headed in his direction, but it's just a smoke. And our attention back to Spit, who was also watching Eagle Sentinel Shooter. Chin doesn't quite get the second player. Finally, the headshot, man down. And he might actually be able to get the 1-on-3 now. The Molotovs get thrown on in. The grenade a little bit too much for Chin, but he has certainly ruined the day of Eagle Sentinel Shooter, and Q Confirm are ready to capitalize.
Yep, ready to clean up. They're not going to be able to get at least more than 1 revive here without having to take a fight. Man's not going to get revive. Entry frag is up. Very low. Has to heal up first while at least still inside of the smoke. Has he been spotted? Oh, he has. Spit. That was just insane. One quick little goes tap, basically into the smoke. Headshot sits him back down after the quick revive from Vandal 9. 8 kills from Eagle Sentinel Shooter. Certainly an improved performance for them here on Miramar match 4 of day 2. But it may be coming to an end very, very shortly. Bahamut Gaming still alive, Jordan. It is their map, of course. Not too much of a surprise. Q Confirm, only 4 kills, but soon to be potentially 5 if they can finish off Vandal.
And we'll just mention quickly, MSC did manage to get the res onto Elonix, so they're back to 3 players alive. It's Q Confirm and MSC that are looking like the powerhouses right now on Miramar. Eagle Sentinel Shooter hiding away in the hut. That's Vandal 9. Bahamut Gaming do have 2, so they're in the discussion. And Insight really at this point is just being a sneaky snake. He's trying to hope that no one will spot him out. But MSC know that he's around there somewhere, and they're starting to clear that area of the map. So I'd say his days are numbered. Q Confirm for me look like the team that's controlling the circle the best once again. I'd say that they're probably in the pole position to finish this game off.
MSC just pushing around up north, pushing into Insight's direction. They'll flush him out. Yoshi Menburi finds his first kill of this match in particular for MSC Theateron. They have got the north side, but as you said, QC probably the best side, which is the south side section of the circle for phase number 8. Jay is just watching the angle for Vandal. Knows he's inside of that shack. Bahumat with a bit of high ground, though. Out to the east. I do wonder how much of an elevation do they have over QC. They might be actually on a very even playing field. More so just sort of like a west versus east. Bahumat on the east. QC on the west. Vandal throws out a smoke, but he's got Jay watching the angle from Vandal's right-hand side. And that should be the end of Eagle Sentinel shootout. No utility, though. A lot of it we saw Jordan used very much a while ago from pretty much almost every team. There's maybe one more Molotov, and that might be the last Molotov. There's the last life as well for Vandal 9. 3 teams left, MSC, QC, and Bahumat Gaming, the kings of Miramar, it seems.
Well, MSC might actually get a reprieve because it looks like Bahumat and Q Confirm are going to go up against each other. Orm shot coming through from Art God. Does not connect. Has to fall back onto the barrel. Q Confirm definitely will want to deal with Bahumat Gaming, and you can see at the moment on the minimap, they're still a little bit concerned about what MSC is going to do. So they don't actually want to engage this fight right now. Svit, again, continues to be that scout to the north and keeps an eye on the road, seeing whether or not MSC is pushing in. It's actually kind of hanging on a knife's edge, really. This could go whichever way. Right now, I'm sort of favoring MSC. Yes, they have to cross the road, but no one's interested in them at the moment. Both Bahumat and Q Confirm have to deal with one another first, even though they have a better position. If MSC can get the timing and cross the road at the right time, they can third-party this fight, maybe even start the fight on their own terms. How many smokes do they have, though? Not sure that they have too many. Q Confirm have a couple at least. I have the storm right now, Xenox. We've had the chaos. Things are slowed down. We're about to have some chaos again. So, smokes are up for MSC. They look to cross the road, and this is where things start to get interesting.
What's even more interesting is if QC can find almost all of the kills here, plus the win, the gap will be reaching almost 50-point territory to that second and third places teams. My boy, knocked down onto Yoshi Maburi. That's probably a good summarization of how his tournament has gone so far. Not really that good. Rossiter Jr. involved. Art God's going to be able to fall back through, get off that first aid kit. Jayers is so close to Art God. Gems knocked down onto Rossiter. QC start to push out. Although up close, Art God with the barrel. Nice knockdown onto Jayers. QC not going to be a far-gone conclusion that they win this game. My boy got Rossiter. MSC are just gone. They didn't even get to fire a shot, it seems like. Now it's a 2 versus 2 between the kings of every game and the kings of Miramar, which is, of course, Bahumat Gaming, apparently. Art God even takes out Gems. Sits him down. Spit's got the high ground, but he doesn't know where my boy is. Has to fall back. In a 1 versus 1 now here for match 4, day 2. Bahumat, do they find yet another win, as they did on night 1 for Miramar? High ground advantage for my boy. The pan.
No way.
That would be hilarious. One way to finish it. Spit can't even get a heal off. One tap, one job. Well, that's it. Again, Bahumat Gaming, just as they did in night 1, take out match 4 on Miramar. My God.
I don't even know what to say about that pan. Maybe he was just trying to fake him out. You just look at that pan flying across your screen, you're thinking, what the hell is going on? And it gives you that 1 second distraction, that timing for the final player to peek across and finish the game off. Bahumat Gaming do win the first game on Miramar on night number 1 and now on night number 2 as well. What a crazy game, though. I really thought MSC was going to cause a bit of a problem there, but the unfortunate reality for them was that once they got across the road, there was no cover. If they would have been able to get into that dip, they might have been able to do something from there. But Bahumat Gaming was watching it. Art got hit a really nice spray, and that was the end of MSC. Once they were stuck on top of that road, they were up in no man's land. The smokes fade, and that's game over for them. Q Confirm were distracted enough as well that Bahumat Gaming were able to turn the 2-on-3 in their favor. Great performance from the team from the Philippines, who has been a little bit inconsistent, but when they're able to turn it on, they're looking really, really solid.
No, it's not when they're able to turn it on. It's whenever we go to Miramar, right?
That's true.
Like, it's as simple as that. I mean, you've got the stats. Maybe we can look at it a bit more in the break, especially after that win now. I want to see sort of, or at least I want to know, like, if we have only, like, we've only played 3 games of Miramar, right? So, like, I'd love to know what sort of the Miramar leaderboard is right now. And if we ignore Erangel, because I'd say for Erangel, Bahumat's probably like dead last, most likely. But then obviously, including just Miramar, they would probably be up there as one of the best teams. It's a stark contrast between the 2 maps for them. That means, of course, then for next week, they might be able to say continue to climb up the standings. We'll see, of course, if they're able to then do it again in this last game to come, which they were able to do on night one. So I kind of backed them in. At this point, I'd back them in, Jordan. Like, I'd be like, yeah, Bahuma Gaming have a very strong chance they could go back to back here.
Well, what I can tell you instantly, I haven't obviously updated from that last game, but at least on Erangel, Bahumark Gaming so far have found a total of 4 points.
Wow.
4 kills. They haven't had any placements there. The
That's
only
6
team
games.
actually so far, aside from Eagle, Sentinel Shooter, who haven't been able to find some placement points. And yeah, they've been struggling on Erangel, that's fair to say. But Miramar certainly much better from them, and we'll get those updated stats when we come back from the break. But yeah, look, Bahumark Gaming, I don't know what it is about Miramar, but they certainly are one of those teams that seems to be able to make it work.
Yeah. Not just make it work, they're literally winning games. Like, they've won 2 games now. There's not too many teams for PCS1 APAC that can stake that claim and say they've won multiple chicken dinners.
Mm-hmm.
Like, besides Q Confirm, who have obviously won multiple chicken dinners. So, for Bahumark Gaming, they've got to start to try and, if they can take this Miramar form over to Erangel, like, it just seems like they would be able to compete for the top 3.
Yeah, they would be a real challenger. I mean, at the moment, they're not being able to do that. So you're right. They're going to need to do that next week. But look, for me right now, I'm happy to see them on Miramar, and I'm sure they're going to be happy going into next week to be seeing more Miramar maps.
Yeah, well, we're going to go to a break. As we come back after that, it will be the final game of the night, of course, which means then that could be the end of the code. So make sure you stick back, come around after the break. There'll be more codes on the other side. One final match remaining for PCS 1 APAC tonight, and it will then put us at the halfway mark, 10 games out of 20. Jordan, Q confirm running away at the length of the Flemington Strait. It's a really long racetrack for those who aren't aware.
I don't think anyone's going to know what that is.
No one's going to know what it is. They're running away with it, though. There is still that little group behind them. The Peloton is usually the phrase you
I like
go
to call
with.
it the Peloton, yep.
The Peloton, which is like Golden Cat, Buram, and Cerberus. Those are the teams that, in my eyes, still have a chance. But I'm almost, since we're at the halfway mark, just about one game to go, I'm almost ready to say the rest are done.
Yeah, I think you're probably on the money there. I don't see anyone from MSC or below being able to catch up to first place, at least. Maybe if one of Golden Cat, Buram, or Cerberus sort of fall off the ladder a little bit, you might see someone, you know, maybe MSC, Maogi. Day trade's been pretty okay so far. Bahumat, for example, if they were able to get the ball rolling on Erangel, you know, get more than like 4 points over 6 maps of Erangel, they might be within a bit of a discussion. But we haven't seen that historically so far, so who's to say that we're going to get that in the future? Luckily for them, at least, there's more Miramar next week. Anyway, we were talking, Xenox, about Miramar quite a lot and Bahumat Gaming quite a lot in that last map. Obviously, they were able to pick up the win, and we were questioning, you know, how much better is their Miramar than their Erangel? Well, I can say that it has been those 4 points that they've been able to pick up on Erangel, 0 placement points, 4 kill points. But what is even more sort of egregious of a stat is that 100% of their placement points obviously coming from Miramar, 24, and 15 kill points coming from Miramar as well, which is 80% of their kill points. And the split should really be, based on how many games we've had on each map, 66% of your points should be coming from Erangel, and 33 should be coming from Miramar. But Bahumat is 100% of their placements on Miramar and 80% of their kill points on Miramar. So just let that stat simmer for you a little bit.
Yeah, it's intriguing to sort of look at, isn't it? And it's night and day between Bahumat Gaming and like Cerberus Esports. And when you look at Cerberus, who are contesting for technically tied for third right now with Buram United, and then you look at Bahumat, who is in ninth, and it's like a 30 point something gap. It's just a stark difference between the domination of Cerberus on Erangel and their lack of domination on Miramar, and vice versa for Bahumat Gaming. Of course, one more game here to be played on Miramar. If Bahumat get like another 15-point game, Jordan, or so, that puts them a lot closer to Cerberus, and then it kind of evens that out there. The difference is, of course, a team like Q Confirm is doing it on both maps, right? I think it's like 60 to, they're like 65, 35 or something like that. So that's their split. They are still doing a bit better on Erangel than they are on Miramar. But when they're doing so well on Erangel, that's not really an issue.
You should theoretically be getting, I mean, the split that Q Confirm have right now, 70-30 for placement points and 68-30 for kill points is actually pretty much the ideal split based on the amount of games we've had so far. That's not going to be a fun start for Rain. And Chin, he knew exactly where he was. Rain was running around with the elephant feet. Gearbox is one of those interesting teams I've noticed, Xenox. I was taking a look back at the games that we saw on Thursday night and trying to figure out what their drop locations actually are. And for the life of me, I couldn't figure it out because they were all over the place. And I don't really blame Rain for going down there. I think it's just, you know, Gearbox changing their spot and Carnage not really quite being prepared for it. It is what it is.
Yep. Well, with one game remaining here, we're reaching the halfway part, Jordan. I mean, there's too many surprises that we've seen for you. I mean, for me, I would say I'm not really surprised by too much that's taken place here for PCS. Like Q Confirm being the best team, not a surprise. There are the teams that are just below them, not a surprise. Is the gap being that large, especially from like first to fifth, being 70 points already? I'd say that's my only surprise right now.
Yeah, I would probably tend to agree. I think that I would have expected to see a little bit more close between maybe like 4, 5, and 6. Probably the other thing would be, I think maybe I expected Fury to place a little bit better than they have so far. They had that really sort of quiet period from about game 4 all the way through to game 7, 8, even. You know, it was only into game 9, like tonight, yesterday night, last game, I should say, is the only game really they've actually performed tonight. And so I think that's a bit rough for them. Puchills is being pushed right now by Astra. He's burning alive. He won't survive. The Molotov's going to finish him off. So Lynxie will get that knock. And there should be a res here for Astra as well. Yeah, I would say I think Fury probably underperforming my expectations just a little bit today.
Yeah, not just them, but probably even Astra to a degree, right? We look at this team and we know what they're capable of. Carnage has been the opposite for the Oceanic teams, where they haven't been a disappointment. They haven't let anyone down. They've been amazing tonight. If they had been this good on night one, for the most part, they'd be mixing around that top 5 region because they only had 8 points from their first 5 games. They've been a lot better here on night number 2. Still one game to be played. But one thing that I'm absolutely loving more than anything is sort of how close this lobby really is. Like, it's only 20 points, Jordan, from last to 5th. That's where it does get a bit of a jump. That next, top 4 is another massive jump, but only 20 points. Like, last is closer to 5th than 5th is the 3rd or 4th in this case, I guess.
Which is always pretty interesting as well, right? I mean, there's these storylines about first place, and everyone wants to win, yes. But at some points in PUBG, you get to a position where you pretty much know who's going to win going into the final day. And we may well have that if QConfirm continue to stretch this lead. But what is interesting is seeing where the rest of the placements are going to occur, because I think there is still quite a lot of discussion points to surround that. Second is still quite a significant portion of cash. Remember, this is a $200,000 tournament, so there's no shortage of cash available, and the split is pretty substantial once you start getting further and further up as well. For teams like those from the ANZ region that don't get that many PUBG tournaments to play in, it's actually quite substantial, the amount of money that you can get.
Bang just runs into Art God, sends him packing early on. Bahamut Gaming, who have usually been very good on Miramar, found themselves a bit of a crossroads early on. Nice headshot as well from Subang, a parting present to Shin Ryuji. Bahamut sitting around middle of the pack is probably about right, considering the form of Miramar. And really, if they can just turn things around on Aaron Cal, they'll be able to find themselves a big opportunity to finish around that 5th place mark. But if they don't, I don't see them getting much more. Basil takes a few shots. Cerberus amongst it early, looking to try and find the wipe onto Bahamut Gaming. Mr. Chan holding close by to Heisaki. Not too close, as Heisaki does now depart back. Falls away, heals up a bit. Of course, every fight that Cerberus takes and every movement that Cerberus takes as well, Jordan, is so crucial and vital that they don't lose this fight and get nothing from this game. And then if QConfirm get another 10 points, that gap just widens and widens. Everything from here on out at the halfway mark means a lot.
Indeed. Mr. Chan quite close by to Heisaki. I dare say both of these teams will be feeling that they're not too eager to be involved in this fight, knowing that Bahamut Gaming pick up the majority of their points on Miramar. Another good chance for them here, but it could be sort of swept by the wayside if the timing's not too good for them. And Basil is on a mad flank, has caught Mr. Chan, hiding behind the rock. Bahamut Gaming now down to 2. And Cerberus on the front foot. This is where suddenly you start to think, well, you know what? Maybe we didn't want to take this fight, but now we do.
Well, minute 30 seconds till phase 2. A lot of time. Really, for Cerberus, they don't have to rush this. They've been cool, calm. 2 early kills, Bahamut being kind of just ripped apart, but slowly, one by one, at the seams from Cerberus Esports. And not too much of a surprise. I mean, despite Bahamut's performances on Miramar, Jordan, Cerberus as a whole, well, most of that's been on Erangel. When it comes down to just a normal 4v4, you back them in to win this sort of fight. Bahamut can't use the map to their advantage much in this sort of situation.
No, definitely not. Basil's not concerned at all. He's going to go and loot a few things up, and I think Cerberus will probably be pretty happy to just rotate away from this position if need be. They're going to fire some shots into the vehicles, and there we go. Heisaki's on the move. The rest are on the move. And so they've gotten what they want, a couple of points out of this, and now they'll set up shop, wait for the next circle shift to come in. It's always good to disengage that fight initially, because it takes a little bit of time sometimes to disengage. And once that circle shift comes in, you do want to be fully disengaged instead of still sort of in the process of disengaging. Lynxie will finish the kill onto 74L1, so early points on the board for Astra in this game. 2 of them already, courtesy of Lynxie. It's a better start. See where this circle shift does end up going. And that's going to tell us a lot as to who might be feeling good down to the south, right over La Bendita. So we
Ooh.
might see some of that crater gameplay that we love. Teams dancing around the top and then teams sort of hiding in the middle. If it does indeed.
It's probably the best circle Astra's had all night.
Hmm.
And maybe the best circle they've had since like match 4, which was on Miramar on the first night. They've had, I gotta say, Astra's probably had a lot of the circle luck on Miramar, but at the same time, they haven't had much else luck on Miramar. Like, they keep getting third party, they keep getting teams run over the top of them. So even though they're getting these circle, the circle luck on Miramar games, they're not really able to capitalize on it. Like in the same vein that like Carnage was able to do so on Erangel tonight, where they were pretty much, tumbleweed, flowing by past them. They had no one really near them. We'll see what happens though, of course, but Astra need all the luck they can get in this sort of game to try and capitalize, which if they can, really, it's so weird seeing them in 11th, Jordan, but they're only 4 points behind 5th. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane how close things are towards the bottom end of the standings. I think that's largely in part due to, the points that someone like, for example, Carnage has been able to soak up tonight, which traditionally you'd think those kinds of points would be going to these middle of the pack teams. And then, the team that was in last place on day 1 and didn't really pick too much up generally doesn't pick much up for the rest of the competition. But they've turned their fortunes around, which has been pretty good. And it's meant that there's been less opportunities for the other teams, the middle of the pack teams, to get points on the board. So things are starting to shift in closer proximity as Carnage soak up
there's
more
a code.
Points. What
Quickly,
code? I don't.
Jordan.
Hang on,
Put
I
it
don't see
in.
it. Wait, put it in where? What? My Twitter account?
Work in game. On your Twitter account. What? No.
Follow me on Twitter at Elfish Guy. What?
What?
Oh, free codes on at Xenoxcasts? I didn't know. Wait, hang on.
What?
Did I
Minute
just
and a
see
half
something?
until phase 3. We'll see. Look, I already put it in. I already got it.
Yeah, me too.
Easy.
Actually, we get to see it earlier. They gave it to us for free.
I heard if you're really nice to Elfish Guy, you get a higher percentage chance.
Mm-hmm. You say, I heart Elfish Guy in chat.
Yeah,
and,
if you say I love Elfish Guy in chat, you get a higher chance of getting a code.
Yep. Anyways, MSC heading on down. They're coming in from the north. Go past Cerberus, go past Bahamut Gaming. Turn our attention to An Kwan, who has got an enemy in his sights. Waiting for the perfect moment to strike.
Well, the last one alive. I mean, really, you can wait for the perfect moment, but the better players probably should just not even shoot. He's probably waiting for him to actually leave. He's waiting for man to leave. I mean, at this point now, in the blue, take the shot, I guess. Waits for him to stand still. Okay, there you go.
Patience is a virtue.
Yeah, well, DIC aren't going to get much more than that, though. As we head over to Gearbox now, breaching the compound of Carnage. It's been an up and down sort of night tonight for Carnage. They picked up their first chicken, did a nice nade, the entry frag from Jordan pushing in for Gearbox. Immediate second knockdown. That's one for the highlight reel. Push in with the nade and then the barrel up close to find 2 quick kills. Carnage didn't even know what hit them. It was over before it started. Gearbox, well played in that situation. Next circle, right on top of La Bendita. Margi Esports, MSC. Really good positions here as well around the crater.
I love this final circle. If it does continue to shrink on top of La Bendita, it's such an exciting one to watch. What a spray from NAMC onto An Kwan. That was miles away. And he gets it done with the barrel. Now going to have an opportunity at Eagle Sentinel Shooter, who will try to rotate past. They look like they'll be okay. Playing in that low ground, in that dip, making it a bit more difficult for NAMC to hit those shots. Fury Australia are absolutely sending it into the middle of the circle right now. And I don't know about this. It may work, it may not. They're going exactly in the direction of MSC, but it looks like Waikika and co, it's Jukesy in the buggy with him, have gotten into a building. I'm not sure that they're aware that MSC is there, but at least they've gotten to the cover.
Yeah, and look, there's enough room for Fury and MSC to hold out inside of La Bendita. But you kind of don't want this position unless you got nowhere else to go. And I think for Fury, they were coming in too late. They had nowhere else to really put themselves positionally. Like the problem is if this continues on to La Bendita, Jordan, you're going to have teams on top of the crater watching down as well as watching out, but they will be able to look downwards here. Not only that, but of course MSC is already here. And let's be real, Fury haven't been able to really be winning a lot of their fights recently. So we'll see how this one sort of translates as we move forward. But fortunately for Fury, they don't have to take this fight immediately. There's so much time. They're in the circle. Phase 4 most likely should include La Bendita as well.
It's very much a calculated risk from Fury, isn't it? They were very quick to get into La Bendita, so the chances of other teams being there already was reasonably low, and so they make it work. It can sort of come unstuck if they do inevitably have to move out of La Bendita. That's where you really just get gate-kept by the teams that are playing on the crater. But you can't get that crater position until the circle moves in. Eagle Sentinel shooter popping a few bullets on their rotation. That'll be from Divine, who's just to the north of them, but they're driving away, so they should be okay. And it's poor old Monty here for Carnage, who's going to go right past Buru Ram, and I don't see this going well, Xenox. Oh no, you don't stop here. Oh dear.
I mean, I don't know what else he's going to really do. If he doesn't stop or he gets blown up anyway, stands still, takes the last few shots, and just, yeah, well, I think he just puts him out of his misery more than anything. And Carnage, I said they had an up and down sort of day, more highs than lows, especially compared to night number 1. So they'll be happy with their performance. Of course, it's not their fault that this lobby has been extremely close. That Victim Rise and Eagle Sentinel shooter still hot on their heels. As we are heading into phase number 4 now, as we watch Fury and MSC battle it out in La Bendita. Well, they're going to get the circle for phase 4 as well. Maogi outside of La Bendita. Astra still inside of the circle, and along with Day Trade, those 4 teams all inside. Well, technically 5, sorry, I should include MSC and Fury. 5 teams really happy with this circle. Everyone else outside going to have to make their way in. Fury continuing to take the fight with MSC.
Definitely going to be scary for Fury, having insight on the ground at the moment. Rosito is looking for some damage. He misses the shot, though. M24 not paying off this time. Might have been better off with the rifle. And they do look like they're going to get the res onto inside, so it was quite an extended engagement, but Fury have gotten out of it unscathed for now. They might just want to put their heads down, to be quite honest with you, Xenox, because they aren't, yeah, like you say, they're not winning fights tonight. They've struggled here already against MSC. They're going to need to heal back on up, just reset themselves. It's been a rough night for them, but no sense throwing this game away, trying to deal with MSC. See what happens with the circle first.
You confirmed, along with Victor Rise taking shots, Fury Ram out to the east of this circle for phase 4. You confirm we're going to be in a position, though, where they're going to be kind of close by to Cerberus and Buriram, 2 teams that are obviously hot on their heels for that first place position. Nade immediately towards Nordra, just stopped. Jowman's had a plan, push right up to his shack though. And got the underarm nade on one side and cover the other side. Really well played. Not too much of a panic from Jowman. 6 bullets though, has to go for the reload. No other choice. Edie's been eliminated, so is Nordra. Now Canaxi, 3 members of Buriram. Pretty much obliterated as God Meow's trying to 1v1 Jowman. He can't do anything. That nade should finish him off if he falls back. It does, but he's so low. You can throw the pan, it'll hit him, and it'll eliminate him. They are going to be finished off. In the end, it's Samoy from Victim Rise. Jowman doesn't really get much. In fact, you confirmed don't really get much from Buriram's demise, other than the fact that they are going to be able to increase that gap on the 4th place team.
What an absolute cluster of fun that was, Xenox. The Jowman. I'm not sure he was enjoying it too much, to be quite frank. It was chaos. Either way, Gearbox. Looks like Jay and not too keen on taking that fight. Obviously, they're going to have to. Day Trade is in a very good spot. Gearbox will want to take control of this building. Kind of push them out. Can't be out in the open right now because Golden Cat is going to be coming in behind them. That's the danger in this point.
This has got another big QC game written on it, doesn't it? They're just going to run into Cerberus, wipe them, then have the high ground of La Bendita. I can see it now. There's, 18 and a half minutes gone here for match 5. Final game of the day for PCS1 APAC. But QC on the verge of being at the halfway mark with like a 50-point gap. We'll see if if they're able to translate more kills here as they start to push into Cerberus on the map that I can see. TCS_map. If you haven't got that one up yet, you're missing out. Vandal 9 knocked down by Turtle. 4 health. Basil knocked down to the rock. 3 still up there for Cerberus. I did see on the kill feed they had a knockdown, so I think there's only 2 up. There is. Svit, Jayers. Last one's up for QC. Maybe I've been wrong in this regard, and QC might go out early here to the hands of Cerberus as well. That alone closes the gap immediately. Jayers trying to just make a run for it, but he's got nowhere to run. Camel's from the other side from Victim Rise. Sits him down and eliminates him. Spits the last one up. So QC aren't going to get much from this game at all, Jordan. So kind of similar to night number 1 going into the last game, and then the last game itself, QC unable to exponentially increase that gap. Now gives Golden Cat Cerberus a chance to catch up a bit.
Yeah, but is Cerberus going to get out of this one without losing a player? I do wonder. Basil actually is confirmed in the end, so it'll be just 3 for Cerberus. Fit is still hanging on. You never know what he's going to be able to do. They've kind of forgotten about him. Everyone's moved on. VTR and Cerberus have bigger fish to fry at this point because they'll know that one another are in a pretty close proximity. So Svit might have an opportunity here to find a way out or to get a couple more kill points on the board, which is still pretty impactful. Speaking of, Lynxie able to finish Maximus off. So Golden Cat have lost themselves a player.
Victim Rise have the high ground in this fight, and Cerberus haven't really been able to improve their position on the map after being a team that helped take out Q Confirm. Well, they didn't get the kills directly. But this next fight now against Victim Rise, which is a team they can very much beat, even without Basil. You push forward, you can then take this position. You'll be able to start to push into La Bandita. Of course, Phase 5 moved away from this crater, but looks like Victim Rise are more worried and just running. They're not wanting to take the fight head on with Cerberus, even though Victim Rise can essentially gatekeep Cerberus. If they allow them through this little valley, though, towards Genfos, then Cerberus will get inside of the circle. So for right now, they're not really in there except for Hayasaki. Svit's still around the area as well. You can kind of see his name there in the distance on the mini-map, kind of coming in behind Cerberus. Might be looking for a bit of revenge very shortly. Nice tap from Gemfos. Hayasaki's low. Spit's pushing him from behind for Q Confirm. They're not going to realize this at all. He might be able to get more than just one. Could really spell disaster for Cerberus. Although, dropping down that hill, he doesn't really get the sightline that he would wanted. That should be an easy knockdown. And it is. Subang immediately eliminated. Can Spit get any more than that? 50 health inside of the blue. Now Hayasaki knows where he's located.
Oh.
But it's the New Zealander, it's Lynxie who finishes him off.
How's he hit that? Where even is Lynxie? What? He's on the other side of the map, Xenox.
I know. How did he get that?
How did he even see? That can't be right. I don't even know. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that because I have no idea how that's happened. That's a huge shot from Lynxie. If so, that's gone so far. Anyway, La Bendita. We're going to be shifting away from that right on top of Maogi, who do admittedly have a 2-2 split. So they were hedging their bets pretty nicely. But Gakon is going to be feeling pretty happy about this. And if I'm Maogi, I'm going to be sending all 4 players into the center of the circle, which is exactly what they're doing.
Better game from Victim Rise. It's been kind of the theme tonight, Jordan. Is these bottom teams, Carnage, Eagle Sentinel Shooter, Victim Rise, have all had at least sort of 1 or 2 games where they've performed. It makes it so none of them are sort of sitting dead last with very little hope. And, well, they can all still compete right up to probably that 5th place. I'd say top 4's out of reach for those 3 teams that I mentioned. Although funnier things have happened. Here comes Bahamut Gaming, expert kings of Miramar. Hayasaki's going to be knocked out, and the initial knockdown's coming from my boy. His goal is up for Cerberus. He's the only one that's up. I haven't got the flash just yet. I mean, if he can, or the flush just yet. I was going to say, if Ghoul wants to be aggressive and try and get the 1v2 to save his teammate, he may have had a chance. No longer, though. Nice reaction time from Shinryuji as well. Ghoul just running away. 8 health. Baihua literally just chasing him through the building. Has a Molotov, but he doesn't know where he's run to. He puts it behind him. He does get flashed from Ghoul. 14 health. Gonna go for the first aid kit. Has a bike. It's almost like he had an exit plan waiting.
This is a bit comical. Shinra Uji has been flashed, and somehow Ghoul's kind of gotten out of this one alive. Now there's a real thorn in the side because they can't exit this building without dealing with him. Waikika has found Seymour. This is insanity. Fury on top of the airplane, and they're actually crushing VTR. What is going on?
Crushing them like that plane crashed to that building. 3 kills for Fury coming up once that bleeds out. As we've got, what, 35 seconds till phase 7. 24 minutes gone to this final game. 10 teams, 29 alive. Kamels on the move. MSC is still here. Rossiter Jr., Yanku, all 4 members of MSC are still alive. A little bit of separation here within this La Bendita crater. Rossiter, you can actually just see Camels is watching him from the other building close by. Fury way further south. Up top of the crater is Gearbox going for the revive. Camels does spot Yoshiminburi. Up close to him, though, is Rossiter Jr. Phase 7 now coming up for us. Maogi Esports get fed again. Yes, they do. Suri Jordan. It's been the feed night. And this time it's Maogi's turn.
Well, to be honest, have kind of had a bit of hard luck so far tonight. So it's nice to see them having a bit of that circle favor. Do still have to deal with Divine, and Maogi are doing that relatively okay. They've also dispatched of 1 more of the Astra members. So they're down to 2. Fury keeping themselves alive, Xenox. They've been in the wars a little bit, but they've got points on the board. They're getting close to being in the placements, and maybe they can turn their night around with a decent finish here.
No kills yet for Golden Cat. Right now, with QC obviously getting very little from this game, Cerberus, Golden Cat, Buriram unable to capitalize, but maybe gives the rest of the pack a chance. Nice headshot from Ronan from a lower ground position as well. High ground, not too much of an advantage apparently for Gearbox. Nikus and Astra helping from a distance as well, helping out Fury with a third party onto Gearbox. Nice headshot from Waikika Mukau. Ronan slow has to fall back, but he can't go too far because that blue zone is now moving. JN inside of the blues. Juxi pushes up. Does he check? He goes for the flush on the Y8. He can't get the second one with the JN. Pan takes a few shots, but not all of them. Although that's going to be the end of Victim Rise. There is still 1 member of Gearbox to deal with up onto the top. That's going to be the end of JN. Eliminated by Insight as Lynxy finds a double nose this one. It's just Tanoi. Tonke inside of the shack. Veronica from behind. 55 seconds till phase 8. Molotov is on the outside, not on the inside. Shouldn't sprint in trouble. Oh, he moves it anyway, though. Veronica's going to get him. He was very low. Fury have just been wiped by MSC. Yoshiminburi and Rossiter Jr. have just wiped out all 3 members that were still alive. And we're down to 6 teams when only 2 minutes ago we had like 10.
I mean, it's all happening at the moment, all over the map. It's going to be Astra that are under the pump right now, though. The shots coming through from Benotica. Lynxy can't survive either. Astra out in 6th. And Maogi are still sitting pretty in their compound. Divine trying to push in, trying to put some damage across and get as many points out of this game as they can before dealing with Maogi. MSC still cowering away behind the crater. They have day trade to deal with as well. I mean, it's Maogi's game to lose, especially when they're in the center of the circle. They got the compound. There's no way they don't get this next one as well. It goes right on top of them. But who comes in second? Who gets the maximum points out of this available, if not Maogi?
Well, you look at that leaderboard, Jordan, and whoever wins this game, right, of these 4, you'd think probably joins that top, well, not top 4, more so 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, right? They don't quite catch up to Q Confirm, but should theoretically kind of get close to Buriram, Golden Cat, and potentially Cerberus, depending on, of course, how many kills from here they get, plus the win. It could be the case. Might be high 60s, but even then, high 60s is not so bad because it just means that one of these 4 teams, they're kind of back in the race for at least 2nd place at a minimum.
Everyone wants to just settle down for a little bit, try and focus some of the attention away from them. It's a case of whoever gets into the first engagement may well get third-partied. No one wants to be that unfortunate soul. Veronica, Flash, and Métis are just inside of the safe zone. I mean, I guess Métis kind of outside, but he can get in okay. MSC know that they need to do something, but I don't know about this one. Crossing a complete open ground, there's a crossfire between every single team. That's what I'm talking about, Xenox. No one wants to be the team to make the first move. Unfortunately for MSC, they have been, and they have just been slaughtered. That was a firing squad.
It was a firing squad. MSC have probably had more downs than ups this tournament. Fair to say that one. And for them, Rossiter Jr., last one alive now. Augie still with 4. A lot of teams around them, but from this position, surely a couple more kills and a win should be their destiny from here. 3 up still for Day Trade, 3 up still for Divine. Divine making their way back into the top 5. They've gone about it quietly as well. They haven't been flashy. Nikki, Turtle, Dempsey, all still up, Jordan, but they're getting the job done, I guess, outside of our perspective, outside of our view. They haven't been flashy, they haven't been in our faces about it.
Divine could certainly be a problem for Maogi Esports here. They're just above them. I guess, again, the thing is, though, if Divine starts fighting Maogi, that's where Day Trade tries to get aggressive. So everyone wants to take that first move right now. They're all just going to slowly but surely push on in. The closest to the center of the circle right now is still Maogi. Day Trade are also kind of there, but they all have to leave cover. So it's just a case of who actually has to leave cover that half second or couple of seconds before their opposition. I think Day Trade don't look too bad right now.
They certainly do not. 7 kills this game as well. They've definitely had a much better day 2 compared to day 1. Not that day 1 was all that bad. Really, all these teams, even MST kind of included, have all been there about the middle of the pack. They just haven't been as good as, say, the top 4. The top 4 have been in their own echelon. Everyone else, really from 5th to last, could all beat each other. That's the way it seems. Like, if you were to put them in a 4v4 fight from 5th to 16th, I don't know who you would back. Divine are just completely being decimated by utilities, smokes, molotovs, and nades. And now Maogi Esports push out of their compound. They haven't been in a lot of fights. They haven't needed to be. But now with all this utility, they can push out. They wipe out Divine Esports in 3rd. Day Trade was next, and Day Trade's gone as well immediately. Maogi Esports making quick work of Day Trade and Divine. They shift up into the top 5 as well off the back of that win. 17 points in the back pocket.
They had 2 kills going into that final 3-team engagement, and they end up with 7 kill points. So not too bad of a result in the end. They're getting 5 of them. 17 points, as you say. Day Trade also keeping themselves chugging along quite nicely. They're still pretty interesting of a team in the middle of the pack. Same with Divine. Nice to see Fury being able to get something on the board as well as Astra as well. It's a lot of the middle of the pack teams getting points out of our final game of today. One key point to take a look at, though, Bahamut Gaming this time struggling on Miramar, and it has been a map that's been very successful for them throughout this competition so far, but not so this time. The big 3, though, largely missing out. Cerberus, only 7 points out of that. Cube Confirm 2, and Golden Cat 1. So it certainly does